What is up, boys? It has been way too long, and I know that. I know it is bad. I really do need to start posting on here more. There's a lot that's changed. Like, I've become a truck guy with this pretty cool C30 flatbed that I've finished building up. This thing is gorgeous, and it's pretty fun, but as you guys know, I'm a Ford guy, and I really do just prefer Fords. So I do also have my long bed crew cab 7.3 POWERSTROKE diesel, which is not the first 7.3 that I had, or any of the other Fords that I've had. I've had a lot of trucks, and there's a lot to catch up with. I actually have multiple videos of the big turbo Civic that I filmed, and a bunch of other things that I just haven't gotten around to, because for some reason, holding my phone this way, I get anxiety. I can't post it on YouTube. With that being said, this thing hopefully sells on Marketplace relatively soon, and we have to go pick up a bunch of parts for this guy to get going on the conversion, and then we also have to get started on wrapping it. So a massive shout out to carwraponline for sending that out. Yo, what? No way! Bumper secured, baby! I love tight things, but this is a little sketch to me. And did I mention I had to drive over a mile on a dirt road? And if you know who owns this, DM me. I want to buy it. So here's the dealio, boys. First thing first, I've got this guy all done with the bodywork. I had some issues here that we had to fix up. Then I also had some more issues over here. I also cut into my fenders and put a gigantic hole, and even cut into the frame, which was really probably not worth it, to put 2022 Illuma-Duty badges on this bad Johnny. The bumper's all fitted up. Looks pretty good. It's not the best welds I've ever done in my entire life. Actually pretty messy. But for being flux, I'm actually relatively happy with that. And this thing is strong and is not going to be going anywhere. It is kind of dented up, but I got it for 80 bucks. And we did the first test panel because it's my first ever time working with carwraponline, and I gotta say, it was really enjoyable. The fender took me probably about 25 minutes total from start to end. I did it pretty late at night, around like 11 p.m., and it was really enjoyable. The wrap is pretty thick, but I love working with thick wraps. As you guys know, I love Vivid. Vinyl Frog is a little bit thinner, but I would say is pretty comparable to that on how thick it is and what it feels like to work with a thicker wrap. However, its stickness and the air release technology is truly great. So we're gonna strip down the truck and then we'll get into it, and I'll showcase you guys it's kind of what it's like to really work with a brand new wrap I've never done before. Now, disassembling the truck's gonna be a little weird because I've never actually had proper bolts on this. It's kind of been like that, so I should probably replace that at some point, but it will at least make taking it off a little bit easier. And these guys always like to strip out, so I recommend you get a couple new ones. On my old pair 7.3 POWERSTROKE, I just stripped them to high hell. If possible, I recommend you wrap inside of a garage. However, I've wrapped a literal semi-truck completely outside, and I did that a couple times. So I prepared myself for just dicking with the horrible sun. But you are going to get contaminants. You are going to have to deal with wind. And the sun does make it 1,000 times harder when it's time to wrap, because it basically acts like one big heat gun. And it's just not going to be as easy for a first timer. Now, when it comes to storing stuff that you just took off of a vehicle, I always recommend to put it inside of the truck or car. For example, all of the bolts I took off, the gaskets and washers. I feel like another pretty major part that people don't talk about wrapping enough, that I feel like if you're looking to watching this video to be like, oh, I want to learn how to wrap, you got to disassemble the interior. Just because you're putting something in the outside like a wrap, just to take off my door handles, I have to take off my entire door card, the entire electrical system here, and then my inner door handle. So just putting a wrap on it does take minimal like mechanical knowledge, or just be willing to like test it out and maybe break some shit while you're messing around here. The best part about not filming on TikTok is I'm actually able to kind of talk freely like myself and even say shit again. Now, to take off the door cards on the 7.3, all you have to do right here is take a Phillips head screw. There's going to be one right here. However, you can see that mine is missing. Gotta love that game. And then there's going to be a couple more hidden hardware down to here. These right here are always going to have an issue on a 30-year-old truck. As you can see, it's pretty loose in there and is relatively rusted out and damaged, but it is what it is. And of course, you can see that we're already running into issues. That's not a Phillips head. That right there would be a Torx bit, which is not supposed to be there, but someone put into there. There's also supposed to be a screw right here, but someone clearly took that one out. And there should be one last screw right all up here. One more in here. Now we got to take off this screw and this screw if you want. However, I have learned that you can take this and tuck it into there and take off the door card that way, which makes life a little bit easier. And I do have these wires here. However, I have a little plug right there. So just take these and unplug them, but that's clearly not from factory Ford, because factory Ford doesn't have ambient lighting. Now lift up here, there's a couple crevices that attach onto this. You can remove the window trim to make your life a little easier, but it is not needed. Taking off something as simple as a door handle seems like it's an easy job, but it's really not. This whole assembly probably took me, I'd say, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes just to take this out. Door handles are a brutal process, but you need to take these out in order to get a good quality wrap. Now, when it is time to take out your door handles, I highly recommend bending down this arm and popping this outwards. Otherwise, once you close your door, there's no way to open it. But if you bend out this tab, you can push down on this guy, and in a pinch, open up your door to get into it. So when you're wrapping on it or doing anything else, you can still have access to opening and closing the doors. Now, the last step is to take the pressure washer and give this a spray down. And now also, I am relatively ashamed to admit that I've had my truck now for about 2.5 months, and I haven't done this yet. But the back of my door cards are absolutely nasty and are relatively moldy from the previous owner, so we also are going to be pressure washing that. And now it would be time to take this guy and put it somewhere where it's gonna be able to dry nice and easy. And let me tell you, I have just the perfect place in mind as where we can dry these guys. And that would be the roof of my garage, which the black part of my roof is measuring in at an insane 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That's gonna be dry in no time. Now, first thing first, take some 70% alcohol, spray down the truck even though we just washed it, and give it a nice wipe down of the whole panel. This is going to remove any grease and then also any oils, and also help prep it so it's extra clean so the wrap can stick to it. Now, normally when it comes to wrapping a vehicle, I do it all in one piece. So I unroll from here all the way down to there, and I pull from that end, and I pull from that end, and I work from the middle, and I work from the right end. I did the whole thing in one piece. It's super fast. It takes me about an hour to do one whole side of a vehicle. Like this car right here took me a whopping 6 hours to do the whole car. Bumpers, roof, hood, and everything. Now, I really wish that I could do this, but I can't because I'm doing it outside. That's going to be too risky. The vinyl is going to sit in the sun and get too hot. I'm working on this side. This is going to get uneven hot. This is going to get uneven hot. Then also the wind, while I'm pulling and moving, is going to blow dirt into it. So we're going to have to do it the old school way and do every single panel one by one separately to make sure less dirt gets into it, because you can see there's a big old breeze coming through right here, and that could blow down the middle piece while I'm working on this piece or the bed and make it an unwanted nightmare. These are 2 rows, by the way, so we're gonna get to a point where it falls apart. And just like that, about, I'd say maybe 45 minutes later, the whole door is wrapped. I also did that little side panel right there. And man, does this color look crazy. I'm so freaking happy with this color. Now, I tucked all the edges. I did everything except post-heating it because it's a weird battle fighting against the sun. So I'll probably post-heat everything one last time all at the same time. But man, does that look good. Just look at these freaking body lines with all the wrap on my feet. Whoa. Oh my God, I am loving this color. So this side of the truck is about 50% done. We have one more panel to do and then the bed. So 2 more panels, but on the cab itself is this and that, and then this little cab piece is going to be the hardest part in the whole truck because that attaches to the roof, and it's going to be a little bit of a nightmare. But I don't think you guys want any more time lapses, so let's look at this door, and I got a pretty good idea here, actually. I think, let's see, that's not what we're looking for. Let's see, I think this is what we're looking for. We grab some wrap right here, and we ball it up, put it into a nice little ball, and I think we stand right here and take this. Whew, God damn, does that look good. I am so obsessed with this color at every different angle. It just looks so freaking good. Now, the next up thing we got to do is the cab corner, which this one is a pain to do. You're supposed to take off the bed. I never do. I just always struggle because I feel like I'd rather struggle for an hour wrapping this than it takes 10 hours to take off the bed. So we're going to have to wrap from this body line right here all the way around here, all the way here, and tuck into that. That's super easy here to go around the window. Back here gets a little bit difficult, but whatever we don't wrap, you'll see the different color and it'll look kind of weird. So let's just handle this one next. Alrighty, boys, it is now much later in the night. As you can see, we're currently around 11 o'clock at night. I had to go make dinner and then also had to pick up more alcohol. Got this whole side done. And let me tell you, boys, it looks amazing. So let's flip into it and take a look. Swinging into here. Oh my God, is this color just amazing, bro. There we go. Now that I got that camera to focus, ooh. Now, yeah, I know I did wrap over the dents. I also ended up welding the bed. That's why it's a lot later. My bed was cracked in half, so I couldn't close my tailgate. So it would just kind of flop around. And since I was wrapping it, there's no point in not welding it. Do the cab corner. We're tucked all the way into here on both sides. When you look at it, it looks like the truck is painted all the way up to this window. Followed the little woof welds right here, tucked into all of here, and oh my gulai, am I happy with that, boys. Got wrap on my feet, boys. God damn. I had to wake up stupidly early for a dentist appointment today, boys. I got fluoride on my teeth still. Shit sucks, but I'm pretty damn tired. I had like 4 hours of sleep last night. So without any further ado, looking up, we'll see you boys tomorrow. Good morning, boys. Well, it's basically the afternoon, but I did finish the hood today. And I just knocked it out. That only took me about 20 minutes, which is pretty nice. I will say the hood was kind of difficult because it was hot. However, this whole side, we're just going to snap through because this is a TikTok side. That side's the YouTube side. This side is the TikTok side. And well, I got to show people how to wrap on multiple platforms. You feel me? Because not everyone is as cool as you and watches my YouTube. I love you. Thank you. You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that one. And if anyone else is watching this, I know I'm so sorry. But take one more look at this cutie pie. Are you ready? What the fuck? Ah. God damn it. Gotta get it all the way in frame. Okay. Huh? Two. Three. Okay. Whoa. I personally think I might have snapped this a little bit too hard because this does not look like an F350 to me. This looks like I'm doing something a little bit sketchy. And you know what? That is true because the F350's out there. When I tell you that this truck came out gorgeous, I am obsessed with it. Now, I waited about a week to finish this video because I threw on the Grandpa Spec wind deflector, which I was waiting to pick up before I finished the video. And then the most important part, I threw on the decals. Now, this truck normally had decals here, and we removed them. I wanted to put them back because I really enjoy that retro 90s look. And then I also had these custom made right here, which is the same color as all the other accents and everything else. However, this is the OG POWERSTROKE diesel logo from way back in the 90s. And this is also the OG 4x4. And I just think it looks so retro and perfect. And normally it says 4x4 off-road. However, I had it said 4x4 POWERSTROKE because I think that looks a little cooler. And 4x4 off-road just seems kind of corny. We also got new taillights from Dynamic Performance Tuning, which looks so freaking good on the truck. I threw the badges on. I'm waiting for my 3 to come in from China because I have an F350 and this is F250. So I'm just going to swap out the 2 for a 3. But this thing looks so good. Color match bumpers. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. The second I lift this thing and put it on wheels, it's gonna look amazing. I'm so happy for that. Now, the next video you see here, I promise you will see another video. I genuinely promise you we'll start posting for the rest of the year on YouTube. I pinky promise you guys right there. The next video you see is probably gonna be me throwing the lift kit on. So massive shout out to Rough Country for hooking it up and sending out that lift kit. I'm super excited to install it. Anyways, thanks for watching, boys. I really appreciate that. And I'm gonna get back to finishing, taking out this motor and transmission stuff. And if you'd be kind enough to have watched this whole video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm.